and welcome to the Gothic Unicorn. Today I'm going to try something a little bit different. I'm going to try and do a video that's a bit more vloggy. I'm afraid at the moment the UK is in the grasp of a heat wave. I know it'll be over before this video goes live, but it is currently about 95 degrees. That's 35 degrees Celsius. But for those of you in America, that's about 95. Now I know for some of you that's not hot, but we're lucky if we get temperatures in the mid-80s in the summer for more than 1 or 2 days at a time. We're not used to this kind of weather. We don't have air conditioning in pretty much anywhere but cars, and my car doesn't, so I'm not going anywhere. And we're stuck with basically fans, which just sort of turn a hot room into a fan assisted oven. That's how I keep describing it. It's like, oh great, turn the fan on, turn the oven into a fan assisted oven, make it even worse, because that's how it feels. But anyway, I do need to do a few things around the craft space, so I thought, well, I'll let you join me, and we'll see how this comes out. If it doesn't work, I'll just delete all the footage and it will never have happened. No, well, you won't know it's never have happened, only I will. We'll see. Now, I'm going to do something here that I have never done before, and that is I'm going to give you a bit of a look at the craft space. This is where I work. This is a chunk of the so-called spare room. It is not known as the craft room. It's known as something that sounds a bit like that, but yeah. Basically, generally, that's where I'm sitting. Where those cereal boxes are is where I normally film. And then I've got another desk with my computer and piles of stuff. And I've got most of my supplies down to the side of me. And over there, there's some of the projects. The rest of the room is full of junk because, if you're aware or not, we're actually supposed to be renovating a house at the moment. That's where I should be today. I should be sticking wallpaper up today, but it's too hot. The wallpaper paste, the glue, would be drying before we got it on the wall, so we called it, and I'm here trying to make some sense out of this instead. So I'm going to go back so I'm not standing here holding the camera, and try and get some of my jobs done. My first job is to flat pack these cereal boxes, and all I'm doing is I'm undoing the bottoms and making them go flat. Nothing clever. This is how I store them. I store them as a flat box, still attached. Because I don't know when I'm going to come to use them. Not for a while, I would imagine. And that's probably made quite a lot of noise, but they're flat now, they take up a lot less room, and they've been hanging around for ages. So that at least makes things look a bit better. As I say, my craft space is a mess. You see the mat. To the side of the mat over here is just chaos. The other table, which is like L-shaped, I've got an L-shaped setup, or should have. The other table is a mess. And underneath that table are the boxes with all my miniatures in. This is all the stuff that used to live in the doll's house, some of which you've seen. actually you've probably seen quite a bit of it now, because I've done some videos that will be going up around about the same time as this one, which are sort of looking at stuff. Mostly because I've been trying to make videos in advance, and when I hadn't got many ideas, that was what I did. So the boxes are flat, they need putting away, which means I've got to dig out the wardrobe on the other side of the room. I'm not showing you over there. When I say I've got to dig it out, I'm not joking. There's stuff piled up in front of it. Because this is our spare room, I don't get to keep it as a nice, tidy craft space. Everything comes in here. And when I say everything, I mean everything. Every spare gap is filled with stuff. You know, I would love a craft space where everything was organised. I had one, and then I started creating, and yeah, the rest is history. Now, I think it's probably a good idea if I actually start with the space immediately around me. Now, to my right, I've got the bulk of my storage. Lots of little things in little drawers, and some bigger things in big drawers. This is my first drawer that I've come to, and this has got my 1/48 scale stuff in. This has actually got actual building kits. I've got 2 houses and a garage, and I've got the remains of 2 lots of advent calendars. Now I think the time has come to take the advent calendar pieces out of those envelopes, and just put them in the drawer as is. I think that's going to make more sense. I'll then put the envelopes in the recycling. I have a recycling bin and an ordinary bin beside me, and then I can move on to the drawer that has got the stuff from the things that I've made. So yeah, I think that is where I'm going to go, and that sound means that there's actually a breeze coming in through the window. I am in a room that faces east, so I get the morning sun, and it's still morning, just about. So I've got the curtains closed, I've got the window open behind it, and nothing was happening. But now the curtains are starting to blow, and starting to get a little bit of air coming in. I don't think it's going to be much, but you know, at the moment I'll take anything. I'm ridiculously hot, which is why I am not showing myself in this video. Sorry, you've seen the craft room, you ain't seeing me. Not in this heat. I don't do heat. So I'm going to take these out and arrange this a bit neater. I've also got a pile of kits that are set aside for the current project, for the Angman's Halt. Yeah, that's the one I'm working on at the moment, Angman's Halt. So I will try and put those in. I could do with a band or something to put around them to keep them together, but elastic bands seem to grow legs around here. But yeah, that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to de-envelope all of these. I've just realised I need to turn the overhead light off. It's causing unnecessary shadows. Anyway, got this done. They're out of the envelopes, apart from the 2 from the 25th, which have got parts that aren't in the little bags. So to make sure everything stays together, I've left them as they are. They're actually little buildings in their own right. There's a summer house and there's a she shed. But this looks better. My pieces for my current project are back in the drawer, and that can go back in, and I can take a look at the next drawer, which has got leftovers from past 1/48 scale kits. I think that is a drawer that actually needs a really good clear out, and then I can maybe reuse the space for something else. I don't know. All I do know is when I move this stuff, I don't want to be moving all the rubbish, so I'd rather be sorting it now. Now this drawer is full of leftovers. There's my flocking material, there's bits that I didn't use, and there's lots and lots of instruction pieces. Now the truth is, if I buy the properties, the kits again, they're going to come with the instructions. I don't need to keep them, so they're going in the recycling. I am, however, going to keep these leftover beads and things. So I'm just going to pull these out. I'm also going to keep any little baggies that are in here because I can reuse them for other things. And yeah, I don't know what I've been thinking, but I think we're going to clear this out a bit. And there's not going to be much, oh, there's some paint in here. Now this paint is not very good, if I remember, so that might be leaving anyway. So definitely going to be making some space. The drawer of spares and things has been vastly improved. I've now got a bag with all my spares. I've got all these strips that I'd already cut for doing tiling, etc. And I've got my 2 boxes with my landscaping materials, which is brilliant. Everything else has gone in the recycling. All the rest of the bags have been bagged up so they can be reused, probably for crystal painting, diamond painting, whatever you want to call it. Because some of the kits don't come with bags to put stuff in, and having these little bags makes life so much easier. So I'm going to put this one away. The final small drawer on this level is supposed to be tools. Now I can see that most of the tools are already over here, so I'm going to leave that for a minute, mostly because I do not feel like attacking that side of the table. And I'll decide which other drawer to look at, or maybe move to something else. I'm not sure. I'm afraid I'm incredibly overwhelmed by all this, but the plus side is my 1/48 scale stuff is all in order. Bonus! It's been a few days since I was filming this, and I'm pleased to report that normal UK summer temperatures have returned. We can actually do things, and what that means is that I've spent the last few days working on the new house, and the miniature stuff has been put to one side again. But I'm back. I really need to get this place sorted, and obviously you're here to join me. Now, while I've been tidying, I found these micro toy box. Now, you might have seen these in one of my attic videos, and some of them are great for filling in on miniature scenes, but I got these the other week for a really good price and then didn't open them. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to open them with you. I don't normally do opening videos and that sort of thing, but I thought, well, we'll have a look, we'll see what we think, and hopefully there's a few pieces in here that I can use in the doll's house. I've done battle with the packaging to a degree off camera because you really don't need all the rattling and everything, but these are the 10 packs that come with 6 pieces that you can see and then 4 surprises, and I've managed in the process to upset them all. So drop that aside, and we'll get all this. Now, in these you get a guide which tells you what you can get, and you also get some stickers. Oh, Tinker Toy and a Duncan Imperial yo-yo. I don't really want those, but you know, I've got them. So I picked this one because it got a different My Little Pony to all the ones that I got so far, which were the same one. It got a Barbie doll. We've got Uno, we've got Monopoly. I'm thinking the board games might go into one of the rooms, sort of piled up or something, I'm not sure. Bucket and Spade, that might be useful at some point in the future. And what I assume was a handheld little computer game thing. I'm going to get my scissors and snip the top, well, that's a small one, off all of these. I know they rip. Ripping makes unacceptable noise for the camera. So here I've got a Hot Wheels car. It will probably get taken out of the packaging because, well, it can, and then put into one of my scenes. I'll move the rubbish to one side. Oh, we've got a rocking horse. Now, I already know I've got a rocking horse in the other set, but again, it's the sort of piece that could go in a lot of scenes, so I'm not too bothered. I've got Skeletor. Now, I'd already got He-Man. He-Man is ready to go into my attic, along with the Castle Grayskull themed toy box that I made. So to get Skeletor is an absolute bonus. He will definitely be going in the doll's house. And then my final one is another Hot Wheels car. Not bad. I think I've got some of these already, but to be fair, I'm not bothered because, you know, I'm not trying to collect them all for me. I'm collecting them for the doll's house, and there'll be other projects. They could go in the other projects. So, I've got the second set. Same deal. So this time I've got the glowworm and the Little People fire truck. I've got the glowworm somewhere. That's kind of cool. Now, the identifiable pieces in this one were the rocking horse, a red Hot Wheels car, some kind of truck. We got another Barbie, Malibu Barbie this time. The other one is Totally Hair Barbie. We've got Candyland board game. We've got Kaplunk, which is one that I do actually like myself. And we've got the Ouija board game. That could be something quite cool to put in my doll's house with the sort of aesthetic that I've got. The idea that they've got a board game that's for communicating with the spirits. So I'm just going to snip these open again. Now these are, as I say, the micro toy box. They're not the most commonest ones to find. Those are the ones that come in a ball. They're a different brand. But I like the scale of these. I've got another blue Hot Wheels, but it's a different one. Oh, it's the same truck that I had on the front, but in blue. Okay. I've got Skeletor again. Okay. I've got a Transformer. Starscream. I don't know anything about Transformers. Well, I do, in that I know that Optimus Prime was the leader of the good guys. At least he was when I was a kid. And this one is another pony. And I think this is another different pony, so that's good. It will become clear why different ponies are useful. But I do like the fact that I've got a different one. So yeah, more Hot Wheels than I would have liked, but for the price I paid for them compared to the price they're supposed to be, I don't mind. I'm not complaining at all. I've paid more for the small containers with them in than I paid for these. So yeah, nice haul. I've pulled out the tub where I've been storing all these. Well, those that are not currently destined for the doll's house. And I've had a look at the list, and I've got the majority. I'm sure I've got the light bright somewhere, but I can't find it at the moment. I've got the majority ticked off, and I haven't ticked Kaplunk, and we've got that. And I'm quite pleased. But there's also a mystery toy, and I've actually got several in my selection that could be the mystery toy, but I'm not bothered. Skeletor, who is a rare, I'm glad I've got two of. One will stay in the box, the other one will go into the doll's house. The ponies will go in the doll's house. I've got extra Barbies so I can do stuff with them, and things will get used. And yeah, well, that's them put away. Now this tub is actually a plastic bucket that some frozen chicken comes in. It's a bit of a gimmick because it's supposed to look like takeaway, but the thing with takeaway is it's not frozen. It's made a good meal in the past for certain members of the household, and I keep them. I do actually cover the buckets eventually with some sticky back plastic and make them look a bit more attractive, but this one isn't covered yet. But there's my micro toys unboxed and put away. Now I've just found this, and yeah, I want to actually find where it came from, so if necessary I could share the link. These are magazines, front and back covers, which is brilliant, that came up as a Pinterest picture. Now Pinterest I despise. I despise it because it is very rare that you can actually find where something came from. I have a picture that I printed off, so I know what I'm looking for, but it's for something that is obviously a purchase piece. I like the look of this person's work. I would like to actually support them. Not this one, this is this other one I've got. And if I can find it, I will be sharing their work in a future video, quite probably. But these are some older looking magazines, which I could have done with when I was doing my magazine video. Now I have no objection to people finding something on the internet and printing it out for their own use. My problem with Pinterest is where people share things and the original artists are not credited. That sucks. You know, if somebody's gone to the trouble of doing a sheet of magazines, front and back pages, admittedly the back pages there's only 4, maybe 5 different back pages, or might be half, yeah. You know, it's took them time. They deserve to be credited. This is the thing that says the Flying Orchid. I don't know if that is a blog or what. I haven't got to looking at it yet, but I printed it off because I find it easier to have it on a piece of paper than to have a link on my phone or computer. So yeah, more magazines. There's a few in there that would have been quite cool to include, but you never know. If I find out where they come from and I can credit them, I may stick them in the doll's house later. That sort of says a lot about the state of my craft room. Bits of paper, a pile of heaven knows what. I'm not even showing you. I'm not showing you the pile of stuff that is by my left hand. It's tools, it's materials, it's leftovers, it's a mess. I think my next step is to put some of that away. Since a lot of it goes in my tool drawer, maybe that's where I go next. So I've pulled out my tool drawer, which is sadly depleted because it's all on the table. And the first thing I spot in there is a box full of bits that I should have taken apart ages ago, and some other findingy bits that should have been put away as well, so we will deal with that. And then the contents of my tool drawer. I've got cutters and pliers, I've got circle hole punches in various sizes. I do actually have a drawer elsewhere in the craft space with more punches in, but these are the most common ones. No other reason. I've got a little pot for my scrapbooking days. It was a freebie from a magazine, back when we had craft magazines that were worth buying, with lots and lots of little brads, paper fasteners in. Toothpicks, an eraser, some nail files for tidying things up, one pair of scissors, a mechanical pencil, a paper piercer, and a couple of ball tools. They don't really belong in there anyway. Oh, and another pair of scissors, which I had wondered where they were. So let's see what I can find. I'll take paper off the top, move that out of the way. I've got scissors, scissors, scissors. They do all have different purposes. Might not look like it, but those are my fabric scissors. A couple of craft knives, another paper piercer, two pairs of these kind of reverse action tweezers, my original pair, which are great, and a newer pair that I managed to get hold of that are a bit springier. Still, they'll do as a have by me. Another ball tool. And then we've got the ruler selection. I've got three here. I've got a steel ruler with a non-slip back. I've got my tiny ruler, which I love, and then I've got my Tim Holtz ruler, which I like because it's clear. It's my old one. My new one is somewhere. As I say, multiples of everything. And another eraser. It's got bits of cellophane stuck to it. I've also got pens and glue and, oh yeah, more toothpicks. That's Cousin It. Every time I see it in this configuration, it reminds me of Cousin It. Yeah. So that's kind of the tools. I do also have some clothes pegs on there, but they live elsewhere. Oh, another nail file, we'll put that back in there. And I've still got a pile of bits. So I'm going to put this away, sort out the other things into what is actually useful materials and what aren't, and then look at that tray that we found in here. So the side of my desk is clear apart from my glue, my little working bit of card and cocktail sticks for using the glue, and some elastic that I've got for another project. Everything else has been put back where it lives, more or less. Now I'm going to put these bits out of here away, and then that box can probably go back from whence it came, which may have been the kitchen. Now these, which came from a company called Craft Box, are some really cool little dragon charms. These would be great for a piece to go on a bit of furniture. You know, you can change the colour up. They're a bit bright in the gold and silver, but they work, and they will go in my box of charms, a good few of which have actually come from the same company. I love their stuff, so that can go away. I've got another box for some bits that I know I've got to go and collect from downstairs. I can go out of the way. And then I need to figure out where they're going to go. Now this is it's the working parts of a cassette mechanism from a video camera, if I'm right. It's been knocking around for a long time. Now you see I've got bits that are like plastic and I've got little coggy doings on them. And a part of me thinks, oh, I could do something with that, so okay. And then I've got some bits that are magnetic. Something there's magnetic because that piece is sticking to that. And then something here is magnetic because all these pieces are sticking together. But I think what I'm going to do is certainly the smaller pieces, which I might be able to stick onto things, are going to go into my box. I've got little screws and all sorts. And they're not really belonging together like this. I'm not even sure what that is. An absolutely microscopically small spring. And as you know, if you've looked for any of this sort of thing, cogs and such like are pretty expensive. So if you're taking something apart, think about keeping the bits. I get bits because my husband takes things apart to repair them, and I eye up his materials and go, oh, I could use that. So I think what's going to happen is I'm going to put all the smaller bits into my little drawer. I've even got what looks like a little motor thing there, and they'll probably sit there forevermore, but I don't need that. Now that on that side looks kind of cool. The back not so much, but I could probably get that off with a little bit of effort and maybe a bit of drilling. I'm terrible, aren't I? We've got little metal bits, lots of metal bits, and some big metal bits. I think basically what happened is when my husband took this apart, I just claimed everything. But there's definitely a few bits in here that may be of use to me. I'm not going to say all of them because not all of them ever would. It's like that. I like that even though it's on there. It could be separated though. So yeah, I think I'm going to collect these last few screws, and then I'm going to call my obsession with this lot done, and the rest can go to my husband for recycling if there's anything that can be recycled. I don't question too much. He's the electronics person. I just go to him when I have a problem. Which is quite often, to be fair. I have just been and picked up the bits that needed to go in here. What was in here in the first place are a load of defunct LEDs. Now these have come off something that was no longer working, and my husband thought I might be able to use them. And to be fair, they are a size that I could use them for small cans of something. I put labels around them, that sort of thing. So they've gone in one of my little drawers. I'd also got some of these, which are shelf supports. You put them in and then you rest your shelf on top. I don't know how I've ended up with them, but again, they're an interesting shape. I might be able to use them. Or I might actually know where they are when I need replacement shelf supports. What I've actually been down and fetched are some halogen bulbs in two different sizes, a smaller one and a bigger one, that I have in mind to do something with in miniature. These are from light fittings that are being changed over to LED bulbs. LEDs being more energy efficient than halogen, and they produce less heat. This is why I'm going for LEDs in my doll's house rather than the old-fashioned bulbs, because of the heat. I'm acutely aware of the fact that older bulbs produce a lot of heat. I mean halogen in particular, because you can buy halogen cookers. Obviously those bulbs are a lot bigger than these, but you know, if it can cook something, it could set something on fire. But it doesn't mean to say I'm not going to use these. They're kind of cool, interesting bits of glass. And I am thinking of the big one in particular, of making something that lights up, that might be suitable for my scientist's lair. The smaller ones, not so sure, but I'll keep them for a while, see how they inspire me or not. I do this, I keep things for a while, and eventually, if I don't use it, I throw it out. I'm afraid if you don't actually cull things every now and again, you just get overwhelmed by materials. It is a simple fact. If you're going to make miniatures out of trash, you have to either only keep the things that you know you're going to use, or keep other things for a reasonable length of time. But if inspiration hasn't struck, then move it along. Oh, and if you are keeping things that are food related, just remember to give it a good wash if it's plastic or plastic coated or something like that, has been in contact with food. Clean it up if you can, and if you can't clean it up, get rid of it, because nobody wants bugs in their miniature scenes or dolls' houses. Now, I was going to carry on with my little blog, tidying, etc. But with a clean table, I'm actually feeling inspired to make, which is a first. I haven't felt like this for quite a while now. So what I think I'm going to do is I think I'm going to end this now, and I'm going to get to making something which will obviously make for a more interesting video for you. Let me know what you've thought of this video, and if you liked it, like, comment, subscribe, maybe even ring that notification bell, because I upload pretty much every week, normally on a Friday, but I never promise anything because real life does get in the way. But until next time, bye.